by the various challenges. So just to remind myself that no matter what, the book are gonna land, right? So I'm wearing my shirt, shake those labels and live your fantasy. And um, we have other products, as you know, and we'll be celebrating 1 year of the Pain for Purpose movement. Yes, 1 year. So it's 1 year since we've actually been having hi people. Auntie, I know you were trying to say hi or something to that effect. Hi, how are you doing? Shan Shan. Hi, Minister. Good evening. Thank you guys for coming on. Right. So, I've been really. Hey, Allison, Wagwan. You get a break. You can come on tonight. Nice. Good to have you. Right. So, yeah, the book, Shake Those Labels and Live Your Fantasy. That's what I'm wearing tonight. So, guys, as I said before, we are 1 year. We're celebrating 1 year, and so we have dresses, little cute dresses. We have summer all year round in Jamaica, and if not, you can put your blazer over it, or you can put your camisole over it. These are just limited editions. These are just to celebrate our 1 year anniversary. So these are not all year round, right? These are limited editions. So we have dresses, the shirts already. Hey, Amori. We have the shirts. So this can be worn by itself because this one has sleeves. See, that's pretty, right? Right. I will have this in royal blue, but somebody just grab it because she said only one royal blue. Me now make it miss me. Right. So we have, and we have the others. Yes. So guys, in honor of our 1 year anniversary, we will be launching we'll be launching our Pain for Purpose scholarship. And I've always said you've probably will be hearing this for the first time. Hey, Orinthia, darling, we probably will be hearing this for the first time for some of you. But when I had Christoph and Gabriel, those are the bigger ones, right? So Christoph and Gabriel is bigger ones. Azalea and Amore are the small ones, right? Azalea and Amore are 6 and 8. Christoph and Gabriel are 20 and 23. So I had Gabriel and Christoph as as a single mother, and I always wanted to go back to school. Always, always, always wanted to be Dr. Nicole Kenwood Brown. Well, not Brown. I didn't know Brown at the time. So I always wanted to be Dr. Nicole Kenwood. And so I would try everything to go back to school. And so I would push to get scholarships. And no matter how I would work hard and write the essays and do everything to get those scholarships, it just would not work. I didn't get the scholarship. And so I had to just take the time. This is a dress, as I said before, so it has a little shrug at the side. So you get a nice little fit on the hip. These, as I said before, guys, are limited editions. So these are just to celebrate our anniversary, right? Right. So I've always wanted um, to go back to school. And I know it is a struggle of so many, sorry guys, I know it's a struggle of so many single parents, so many single mothers wanting to go back to school and can't afford to because of the commitments and having to put the children first. And so one of the things that I've always dreamed of and one of the things that I've always wanted to do is to set up a scholarship for single mothers, right? I know that I'm not yet in the position to do something very grand, but in honor of our ladies and this our first anniversary of the Women of Passion, Purpose and Power, right? Which will be having our month end meeting. Remember, guys, if you're not registered yet, we have limited space for 15 persons according to the regulations that are now in place. 15 persons face to face. and we can accommodate as many persons on Zoom as possible. We'll have the virtual link lock, so you will have to just register to be connected to what is happening this month. And so we're having our month end meeting, Women of Passion, Purpose, and Power Empowerment Forum. And this month end, hey Denise, so this month end we'll be having three men on a panel telling us as ladies how to treat men, what men are expecting from us as women in relationships. So we're having a pastor, pastor just jump on with us here. Pastor Glenville Lidner will be our speaker, will be one of our panelists. I Carrie, we'll be having Minister Ramon Lee, and we'll be having Pastor Carbel Leon. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. You just don't want to miss it. We want so much time. I mean, for the energy and the vibe and everything will go take place. So we just all ask, we just link up from 3:30. Guys, we'll be doing like the very first segment, like the worship and the preamble, we'll be doing that live. And then when it comes to the discussion part of it, unfortunately, if you have not registered, you won't be able to partake of that. So make sure you are registered. And back to this. So in honor of what we're doing and the fact that we will be launching our scholarship, Paying for Purpose scholarship, educational scholarship. So we want to be able to give a single mother assistance to go back to school, right? As I said before, whatever we're all about empowering women, right? We're all about empowerment generally, but we are zeroing in on empowering women. So whatever you purchase, right? What a man want the thing I go loud, faster. So they have to join in to get the whole vibe. So whatever you purchase in terms of merchandise, just a moment, shake those labels and live your fantasy. So whatever you purchase, whatever merchandise you purchase, so if you purchase a shirt, if you purchase a dress, remember we have limited edition dresses just for the anniversary. We don't have a whole lot of dresses. It's just a few, right? At very reasonable prices. So remember, every time you wear this dress or you get it for your lady, it's not just to say, I'm wearing a dress with some writing on it, right? It's to say that this is the woman that I am, right? And so we'll be giving 5%, 5% of whatever merchandise you purchase will go to 5% of whatever merchandise you purchase will go to launching that scholarship to allow a single mother to access some finances to go back to school to further her education. So we have masks. So sit this a little closer, right? We have Bill of Vibe, and so see, the new norm is that you wear a mask. So, see, Pain for Purpose, a woman of fashion, and we have so many in so many different colors, with so many different vibe. I go and make sure you get your mask. Remember, when you buy a mask, I love the white one here, see? When you buy a mask, and this white one will go so very well with this pink dress. Oh, yo, yo. Right. So whenever this one can go well with it, whenever you buy a mask, see, whenever you buy a mask, whenever you buy a dress, whenever you buy a shirt, remember that you're not just helping us to push this thing further. Pastor, you can inbox me for details as it relates to the costs of the products, right? Right. So whenever you do so, you are allowing a single mother the opportunity. So you're not just spreading the word, you're not just empowering yourself, you're not just contributing to a movement or sowing into a movement, but you're also sowing into the life of a single mother. So I didn't get that opportunity. I didn't get a scholarship when I needed it and wanted it as a single parent. So I'm now wanting to give that woman, any woman that is qualified, will have the criteria set in place, but we want to launch it on Sunday. This is a part of what will be taking place on Sunday. And not just your purchase, but if you are coming on Sunday or if you are joining us any at all, and feel free to inbox me as to how you can contribute, how you can make contributions to there will be accountability, and there will be you'll be able to access, you'll be able to know how your money is being spent, right? So if you want to be a part of this movement, whatever it is, no matter how small, 5% of each item that you buy will go towards helping a single mother to. Thank you so much, Denise. Last the shirt here, kind of, you know what I mean? So whatever you buy from this Women of Passion, this Pain for Purpose movement, the shop, with 5% will go towards a single mother going back to school. Right? We're able, we not thing no boss big yet, but we are all about empowerment, and that is what we are all about. So listen, guys, register for Sunday. If you can't make it face, as a matter of fact, face to face, 15 people, that's them space they gone long, 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 long time. So you must be joining. It must be that you're joining virtually. So you make sure you click on the link, go on and register to be a part of it on Zoom. Remember, once you're registered, is pure empowerment. Guys, whatever you purchase from the shops, remember, buy your mask, paint for purpose, woman of passion, purpose, and power. 5% will go towards a single mother, empowering a single mother to go back to school, giving a single mother an opportunity to be empowered, that she may be able to help her children in a more meaningful way. All right. Hey, Auntie. Hey, Aunt Flo. Thank you for coming on. Nice to have you. Hey, Sister Rose. Hi. So make sure you make a purchase. Make sure you go on and register for what is happening. Big things are happening. Big things will be happening on Sunday. We'll just be having the discussions, and trust me, you know I'll miss it. All right. So, guys, as we promised, tonight will be a night when I'll try my very, very best to answer some of your questions. It's really about not wallowing in self pity. It's really about, because things happen. This is life, real life. Things will happen. Things are always happening, right? And the unfortunate thing is that one of the things that will happen is that infidelity will take place. Whether you're saved or you're not saved, whether you are in a deeply committed relationship like marriage or any of those things, or you're just in a concubinage situation or a common law situation, these things will happen. And I continue to have questions being asked. I continue to have discussions. So despite us looking at different things, this I wanted to make this thing very open tonight to allow you to voice your opinions, to allow you to ask questions, to allow you to give your feedback. One of the things that we want to be looking at is Elenax is how a man handles men are here. So man, probably you never get born. Probably you never been cheated on as a man. Probably you've never experienced this. You've always had a good life. But from a man's perspective, how men you are here, help out the ladies tonight to understand, right? Some of the reasons that would have you go. Don't bust out all of the secret, because that's Sunday that, right? What do you want after you have decided, after the infidelity has taken place? So let's say from a man's perspective, you are the man and you go to a road, but you want your relationship. So you go to a road either for just bill of vibes. You go to a road because you meet a girl and something go down. You go to a road because things boring a yard, or things stressful a yard, or whatever happen, whatever the reason is that will cause you as a man to stray. But you still want your relationship a road. Sorry, a yard. And you've decided to stay with the lady that you're with. What are your expectations of your relationship after that? After your lady has found out that there has been some breach in your relationship, What are your expectations? How would you want her to respond? What would you want her to change? How would you want her to adjust to the information that she's just gotten? How would you want her to cope? What how would you advise your lady? All right. I know one of the things that happens a lot, and I've heard this from a lot of ladies, is that once they find out that their spouse has cheated, and they will be talking about, because one of the natural things that we've gone over before, when you go back to catch the previous lives, you will see some of this coming out. So one of the things that you will recognize is that a woman will want information. What about her so? Um, what me never do? What me did do? All of these questions will be asked, right? And so a lot of ladies say that after a while the men get, hey, date and pick up yourself. It's like the men are starting to become annoyed and they don't want to talk about it. And one of the very crass things that I don't believe they know how the type of effect. Hey Carita, hey Linda, hey Mario, thank you guys. I don't think they know the effect that this thing has on their relationship, on the woman, when they say to her, you need to get over it. You need to pass that something they know. How long you go before you stop nag me with that foolishness there. You know, so me stop doing thing there. And I don't know that men understand the impact that this has on a woman when you begin to say things to her like that, because she's already broken. She's already in a place where it's very, very difficult for her to trust you and to cope with what has happened. So when you are rushing the process in terms of her moving on too quickly, then you are only setting yourself up for further issues and problems down the road in your relationship. So for the men, you have to allow her to grieve. You have to allow her, yes, Shanshan, you have to allow her, any Anisha, you have to allow her time to process, right? When a breach like this takes place in your relationship, it is like somebody dead. I kid you not. It is like there is this bond. Two persons. Remember, that's what the Bible says, two have now become one. So when somebody, if comes between the two of you, you're actually tearing the two apart to allow somebody to come in the middle. When you tear that thing apart, there are so many things that happens in the midst of that. There is so much destabilization and a lot of insecurity begin to come in place. And it takes so much to rebond and to rewire that relationship to have things back the way it used to be. And I'm saying this to you guys, a lot of times things do not go back to the way it used to be. Be very, very mindful of this. If you've not stepped out of your relationship yet, or you, as a matter of fact, me say yet, I shouldn't even say that. If you've not stepped out of your relationship, if you not have that experience, bear in mind that once there's a breach in your relationship and the other person finds out, things will never, ever, ever go back to being the way it was. Bear that in mind, right? You cannot expect the lady to behave in the same way as before. Trust me, it can go one way or the other. The relationship can change for the better or it can change for the worst. The worst. You will see this, right? As you progress, you will notice whether or not there are changes and what kind of changes are taking place in your relationship. So you will know. Right, right, Pastor. So you will know based on the activities, based on what is happening, whether or not your spouse is improving and adhering to the promises, because a lot of time me not do it again. Because it's sometimes not sorry, then sorry, so then do it, A sorry, so then sorry, so then get catch. So me not do it again. Me this. So what they do, Patrine, what they do is that them go and them polish up the thing, some of them, and try to be more skilled. So instead of telling us they must stay back at work late, then them cook them no bother with no work late something again. Right? Them start do the thing in the day. So them start do it lunchtime. One time they used to do it after work. So now you catch up on them for the after work something, they no bother with that again. So them start take all day off where you don't know nothing about. They start go about them thing in a different style. So there are some persons who it's like infidelity is so much a part of them that they find ways and means. Every time they get catch, them go back and practice and try to do it in a more skillful way. Now, if you're noticing, and trust me, when there's something happening in a relationship that is not beneficial to the relationship, when there's a breakdown, no matter how slight it is, you are going to notice if you're paying enough attention. Let me tell you, there are some points in time that women will ball, that bun, a prime season them never bun. When a woman pregnant, a prime season, enough women get bun during pregnancy. And trust me, it's one of the hottest times to get bun. Tell me if I lie, me I'm telling the ladies. Another prime season that women get bun is when they just have baby and the sex can run. Hey Dakota, when them just have baby, whether they had a C-section or they had a vaginal delivery, bun run. For men who are not very committed, right? Or for men who struggle with their sense of esteem and their sense of worth. Because a lot of times men believe that they are competing with the baby getting all of the attention. And you know, man have a thing for breasts, right? They have a thing for breasts. So when them look and see how a little baby just latch on panda breast, they were for them all along. All of a sudden, things turn topsy turvy. And because they weren't very balanced in themselves, they weren't very sure of themselves, and so much of their happiness rested with the woman in the relationship. Then they start to become insecure and restless, and the slightest little attention they get on the outside, them start stray. So look, guys, yes, they get jealous. Hey, Auntie Bev. So when you're pregnant, especially when you're in an advanced stage of pregnancy, and you know you can't do certain things, so the whole heap of style them we used to run. Them style you can't run again, and you can't do certain things, and you feel you can't sleep, so you're miserable, and you don't want nobody touch you, and then prime season for born. When you just have baby, as I said before, whether you have a C-section or you have a vaginal delivery, hey, Pastor James, prime season for bun, right? Because as I said before, man get jealous when baby come in the picture. Another time is when the baby comes in the picture, and you have to be giving the baby so much attention. The breastfeeding, the waking up at night, you're too tired to share your attention or your affection between the man and the baby, and probably if you have other children, is a prime season to get born. Hey, Pastor McCullough, another time that infidelity is very, very peaked in a relationship is when I'm speaking about man to woman now, right? We're coming down to the woman. Another peak period that you infidelity is very high in a relationship is when men become very insecure when their women are progressing, because you have some women who are very, very ambitious and are always wanting to go forward, always wanting to improve themselves, always wanting to become more, and some men become threatened, right? Sometimes these men don't want to improve themselves, they don't want to go back to school, they don't want to do the personal development training and all of these things. And so at those times, they become very, very vulnerable to what is happening on the outside. There's a lot of insecurity. And for us as women, I think that we have not come to the conclusion that men are very, very emotional, and men need the same amount of attention and sometimes more, because men are not nurtured in situation, or their orientation is not very mushy mushy and very emotional. So they're not hugged, they're not kissed, it's very, especially in our culture. I can't speak to the other cultures as much, but especially in our culture, we are not very mushy and emotional towards men. And so they develop this level of insecurity and expect a lot from their woman in terms of emotional support. And for a lot of them, the slightest little shift in your shift in attention, they become very affected by it. And though they will not verbalize it, yes, Pastor, those are a lot of times that the enemy set them up and send all kinds of temptation their way, and they become very vulnerable to this temptation. Hey, Claudette. So these are seasons that are very peak, right? And so, I mean, it is all well and good to say that man not to cheat. People are not supposed to cheat, and that is a fact that you are to remain committed and faithful to your relationship. But the fact of the matter is that we live in a real world where we're dealing with real issues, with real people, with real struggles. And so many times and more times than not, it is, hey Claudia, us as women who have to bring so much balance to the relationship, so much rests on us, right? As it relates to our role and our responsibility, there's a lot that we have to carry. So there has to be this development of a sensitivity to the needs of your spouse, right? You must be sensitive to the needs of your spouse. And another time we'll be looking at the five love languages. For there are five love languages. That everybody have different love languages. My love languages is gift. Just give me gift. I love the quality time and all of this, but gift. So you need to know what your spouse's love language is, and you need to speak in that person's love language. So I'm saying to you, ladies, I'm not touching Sunday, no, because guess what? Sunday I gonna be fire, right? So Pastor Lidna, Minister Lee, and Pastor Leon will be speaking on Sunday and telling you all that a man needs. I'm just brushing the surface, right? I'm not seeing any questions so far. Remember, I tell you that tonight is Q&A, question and answer. So I'm just building a platform for you to just throw your questions this way, and I'm telling you that I'll try my very best to respond to you appropriately. All right? Video it, Shanshan. It will be videoed,